some news? Want to do some news?
Let's move to some news.
Yeah, let's do some news. We're going to discuss 2 teaser trailers that dropped. One dropped today and the other one dropped last week. Let's start with the one that dropped today. Thor.
Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Finally dropped today. I think people have been clamoring for it. You know, the same thing happens every time.
Where's the trailer?
This movie is only like 3 months away. We haven't seen a trailer. Should we be nervous?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you'll
Why would
get
you
it
be
when
nervous
you get
about
it.
that?
Like,
It's because they base it off of the average like release time that they usually do for a
Right.
normal
Or
movie,
then-
and they're
or
all
then-
like, "It should have already been out by now," and I'm getting nervous.
well, then there's other things. Like Disney has so many movies or shows coming on. Like,
Yeah.
you want people to be watching something, and then it's like, okay, now let's do this as
Well-
we're building up. Like, it's called synergy. You know,
Well, and timing is super important with these movies and TV shows now because they're all connected.
right? So it's just spoilers.
Like
yeah.
when you reveal like a god or a monster being dead, and it's
Yeah.
like things are starting to point towards the god killer. And what if you got that before Moon Knight even came out? Then it'd be kind of weird, and
Yeah.
and so yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the teaser that dropped?
I thought it was. I mean, I'm fine with it. It's not my favorite like theme, I think, but I think it's fine. Obviously, like the music is the oldies, and stuff like that, and it's okay. I think it works more for. I mean, it is kind of a fusion of Thor and
Guardians of the
Galaxy.
Guardians. So it's this like fusion thing, and I'm okay with it. Kind of, it just doesn't feel like mythical god feel to it. It's like it's kind of like he's not been like clipped of his wings, but it's just he's been more normalized or more humanized. That's the only thing that bugs me with Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, the actual like trailer, the music was fun. They revealed a lot of really interesting things. Like I don't know what it was about him like planting. What's his axe called? Stormbreaker. And then like showing like that big monster or god or whatever that was killed.
Yeah.
And he's there with a big dude next to him, and like they're looking at it. So there's a lot of like intrigue in the trailer, which I think is good. And for Thor fans, I'm sure they're super pumped for stuff. But I was like, oh, interesting. I will watch it in theaters. So, but
We're
I wasn't like
contractually obligated to. Nerd Age
for
contract.
Nerd Age, or non-contract. Yeah, what'd you guys think?
I thought it looked interesting. I'm going off the trail a little bit. I agree with you though. I think their turn for him of being less the like mythology demigod, to me that is the more interesting side of him. Maybe they'll go that way with him in this movie, but just based on the trailer, it seemed like he's giving up almost everything. He's like the goofy guy.
Yeah.
Which I know a lot of people like that side of him. I've never really connected with that. But it was cool seeing Jane Foster as She-Thor. I don't know if that's the official name.
Lady Thor.
Lady Thor.
Yeah.
Girl Thor. In the comics, she gets cancer and she wields Mjolnir,
Which the actress, she's actually said that there is they're doing their own adaptation of that storyline with her.
Okay. Yeah.
So some play on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
That's cool.
That's a cool aspect of it. So it'll be cool to see that. It looks like the Mjolnir from the original time where it gets broken by Hela. So it'll be interesting to see how it is somewhat put back together and how Jane Foster even got it. So I'm curious to see that. Visuals look cool, Yeah.
What did you think, Josh?
I'll let Jonah go.
Okay.
So that we can get the negative out of it.
Okay, sure.
I thought it looked cool. Like Mix was saying, visually, I think it looks. I always complain about gray, like Marvel movies looking gray. This one looks like it actually has
they're
like
not.
a lot of color and unique things.
Yeah.
I thought the good things about like the Guardians movies. And
and so I thought that stuff was cool. Natalie Portman's arms are massive.
Yeah, she's yoked.
I'm like, dang, she's putting in some work. So that was interesting how that's going to work. I don't know.
That was her arms were interesting.
No, I'm saying like
that's pretty.
I'm saying the reveal of
interesting
her
arms.
The reveal of her being
see what she does with them.
The arm reveal.
Yeah. The reveal of her. I thought that was interesting how that's going to work because I don't know anything about the comics in that area. Nitpicks for me. I'm not a huge Taika Waititi fan. His humor to me, I'm not a huge fan of it. And I feel like this is more of the goofy Thor.
Yeah.
Where I don't like what they did with him where he got all fat. And like, I thought there was a cool thing to do with him where he's like, with what happened in Endgame and all that kind of stuff, that would be more like, that would hit harder, but they kind of made his grief a joke.
Make
him the fat guy and he's like really goofy. And I feel like they're just continuing that. And I much more like the mythological god stuff that's like more serious. And this kind of seems more like goofy based on Taika's takes on things. There's the opening shot where he's running, and he's a little kid and then it looked like really cheap to me, like it was a cosplay outfit. And I don't know if it's like it's part of a scene in the movie where it's like kind of like
it's
a
actors.
reenactment or something, or if it's something like it just felt like I don't know that. So I know that's nitpicky, but I didn't like that aspect of Thor when he's doing the chain stuff and he's fat and that. Like
he's doing the Mr. Incredible thing, man.
I just feel like it's going to be played for laughs, and I really didn't like that about what's the Ragnarok. It just felt too goofy, and I think it's like doubling down. Even what stuff that Taika has said is like this is going to be even crazier than that. So to me, it's not my favorite kind of Marvel. Yeah. So I'm not really that excited for it. For that reason alone.
The aspect of that I'm excited about is the whole, I think it's going to start out that way. And I think this is going to be a story about him kind of finding purpose. And I mean, they say that in the trailer, but basically, like him finding himself and figuring out what he should be doing. Cause obviously he's super lost.
Right. Yeah.
And so he's going to struggle. And he struggled in like, in Endgame, when they're going back in time and he like meets his mom and stuff like that. And he's struggling. Obviously, it's hard to take him seriously when he's in a fat suit.
Well,
but I think that besides that, he has to get back in a better mental space, and it'll be interesting to see how his hero's journey takes him in that direction. Because obviously, that's the way they're going. He needs to find a new purpose, and he needs to get basically a new lease on life. Basically,
well, he even says like,
he's putting
I don't want to be a hero anymore. Like,
and I get that.
Which I think that's how it's going to be at the beginning.
Yeah,
I think, but then he's going to have to accept that he needs to step up.
Because he even quit being like the king of
because now Valkyrie she's the king.
Yeah,
and I get that. I get that, but I just feel like how you go about it is going to make it or break it. Because even that little scene where he's talking to Star-Lord and he's like, it's about the people you love. And he's like, he does a little gag where he's like, in Star-Lord. So I'm like, if that's the whole movie and then at the end, it's like, okay, let's get serious now. To me, it's just going to not work.
It's always going to be peppered in.
Yeah. Well,
and sometimes it'll like, because they're always use it as brevity.
Yeah.
They'll go in, and then they'll go back up for air with a joke, and then go in, up, and it always takes us out.
I'm afraid it's going to be too much.
Too much. Like, too many airs.
Too much air.
Too much air.
It's going to be like air.
Yeah, down.
Dive. Air, dive.
The other thing, Zeus, to me...
Oh, he looked cheap.
Looked super cheap.
Yeah, he did.
And
that armor.
It's Russell Crowe, so... I was like looking forward to having Russell Crowe, and he just looks. It's a really quick shot, so of course I'm nitpicking here, but this is my big concern that he's gonna be like I can see him being like over the top, like really goofy, like bam, like throwing like lightning stuff,
bam, bam, bam,
like out of the Disney Hercules.
I feel like that's kind of Taika's like, what if we make him like really goofy
from Hercules?
He kind of has that James Gunn idea. Like, anyways, that's my only concern. It could totally be awesome, but Anyway, I'll shut up now. Let Josh talk.
I mean, the trailer looked fine. I'm kind of in the same vein as you guys that I like the more mythological Thor. They pivoted after the first 2 Thor movies to Thor Ragnarok, more jokey, really jokey. Like
a joke. You know what I mean?
Like you literally
he was a
have
joke.
his dad dying, and the next scene is him like scooting around in a chair, being like, "Hey Loki, get me out of here." You know what I mean? Like goofing off.
Yeah.
So they're going that way, I think. I'm hoping that this movie, like with the Jane Foster stuff, brings some more, like, I guess, some more weight to it with the storyline, whatever they do with it. And hopefully that grounds the story more. But it has the Guardians in it. It has jokey Thor. So it's Taika Waititi. So it's going to be just like Thor Ragnarok on steroids, I think, which is fine. I don't hate Thor Ragnarok. It was enjoyable, but I didn't get there emotionally for me. And there's a lot of things that happen in that movie that I'm like, yeah, you can do some really good things with that, but they just didn't want to. They just wanted to tell a different story. But I mean, the visuals look fine. It looks interesting. Like we said, we're gonna watch it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think the most interesting thing to me is the Jane Foster stuff, and see what they do with that.
I think between Jane Foster and having that like interaction, whatever it is, and combined with what's his name, the God Killer, Gore, yeah, I think it's Gore.
Something.
Anyway.
Christian
God
Bale.
Butcher,
yeah.
I
think between those two very serious story beats, I think you're going to see a very serious Thor at the end of this movie, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And to be honest, like, yeah, you're right. Like, he was a joke, and a lot of his stuff at the beginning of Endgame was a joke, but at the end of Endgame, he got serious, you know, and like he really, like, I know it's not like super like deep or really emotional, but they did try to convey that seriousness of like, yo, yeah, I cut off his head, and like he blames himself for not, like, you know, finishing the job correctly, you know, and so like he's struggling with a lot of things, and that's evident. It's just whether or not when we watch this movie, are we going to feel something with Thor?
You're
yes
gonna
or
buy
no?
it.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the only thing I'm concerned about. So I hope I feel for the guy, and I hope I'm rooting for him and all that jazz. And I hope it's not super cheesy, corny, like anyone could say the joke kind of joke thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm afraid of.
Well, that's the one thing that worries me with the Guardians being in it, because Guardians 2 is literally like everyone's like a joke a minute, like everyone's just rapid fire, and it's there's no distinction between who's telling the joke. It's just like, hey, everyone, tell a joke.
Yep.
It's your turn to fire off a joke. It's just like, oh, that's the joke crew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hopefully that's not as bad as...
Just one thing I remembered from the trailer, there was a shot, and it's actually it looks like the same graphics that Miss Captain Marvel has when she's like her energy, and it's like pushing against his like axe, and he also has the colors of her outfit, like her outfit, like her gear. So I didn't know what that was.
I think it was
about.
just reflecting off whatever the axe was doing.
Really?
Yeah, because there's where he's kind of just
it looked
smiling.
exactly like her stuff.
It looked like he's looking at something and just like reflecting off of it. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I think his new suit has the red and the yellow like circles in it, so I think that might be what it's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I mean, his suit looks cool. The one with has like the fur.
I love that one.
that was cool.
I'm like, oh, that's
for
sweet.
neck fur, dude. I'm a sucker for it, dude.
And like I said, like when I heard the casting of it, I was like, Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, like that's awesome. The teaser got me a little bit like, like, but again,
they're always gonna try.
But again, you're gonna hate it anyway.
But they're always gonna put those jokes and the goofiness and the most general attractiveness to like all ages and all types of people forward on this trailer to get people to be hyped for the movie.
But I do think that yes, they're gonna do that. They're gonna focus on that. But I feel like Ragnarok did have that. Like, even though they did put stuff in the trailer, the movie was still full of that stuff. Right. And if Tyga's saying, we're like, if you thought that was nuts and that was funny and that was over the top, this one's even crazier, and they let us get away
Is
with
that
way
your
more.
interpretation, or is that actually what he said?
That's what he said.
Wow.
It's like when he
Direct
said,
quote.
when he said Love and Thunder, he said this is if you thought Ragnarok was crazy, this one's even crazier.
Crazy.
As
You
far
mean
as like
goofy?
as far as his humor and style. He's like which is fine. I'm totally fine. Like I've got to be consistent when I criticize something. And what I've criticized Marvel about is I've said they don't let directors put their own spin on things. So they're letting him do whatever he wants to do. So I have to be fine. Like, hey, I'm glad they're not handcuffing him and forcing him into a box. Like they're letting him go for it. I may not like that, the over the top humor, but at least they're letting him make what movie he wants to make. So I have to be, sure. I hope that's the same thing with Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange. I hope he is allowed to do what he wants to do instead of Marvel being like, yeah, you got to follow these things. Because I feel when Marvel's done that in the past, we get the same movies. So I have to be consistent. Yes, let him do what he wants. If I don't like it, well, that's that. But at least he got to do what he wanted to do. Sure. So that's my only concern.
I guess from the trailers, though, with that point, like I see that more with, and again, it's just based off the trailers, but I see that more from the Doctor Strange trailers that looks at least different than other Marvel stuff. It might be Taika Waititi's vision, but his vision seems to be very much like, oh, it's the Marvel vision that we've seen, like, you know, a ton of times with other stuff.
Well, I think he's really close to James Gunn. Like they work together, they have similar humor. So I feel like it does. James Gunn has done his own thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. So I feel like maybe it's because it's so similar to that, like with the humor, that maybe it feels more like that. I don't know.
Here's another question. How much do you think the Guardians are actually going to be in the movie? Do you think they have a
first half or first
semester? First semester.
Yeah.
First semester.
First quarter, yeah.
I think the same thing. I think it's going to be like early on, he's trying to figure out stuff. Maybe he hitches or gets a ride with them somewhere.
Well, he's already with them, right?
Well, he does at the end.
And so,
currently there.
And I think this might be a perfect thing for the end credit scene to be a setup for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
That's probably a good guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually looking forward to it. Because I like Thor as a character personally. Yeah. And I always felt weird about how the Jane Foster thing went.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she's not here anymore.
Oh yeah, we just like broke up.
Oh yeah,
they just like
in Age of Ultron, they're like, oh, we're not together anymore, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
And he was all like drunk. No, yeah, he was drunk. Oh yeah, so in Age of Ultron, that's where he says that
at the party he's drunk, and then he like mentions it that they're not together.
And
anymore.
then in Endgame, when they're talking about
in Age of Ultron, they're still together, but she's gone on some like I don't know,
science thing.
And
then in Endgame is when he like has that sap story, basically when he's explaining the Reality Stone, and he's like, it just goes in detail, and they're all like, oh my gosh, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty annoying, but. Yeah, I just didn't like how they.
I think in Ragnarok, it's brought up that I dumped her and blah blah.
Oh, yeah,
he's like taking pictures on the street. I think that's when it's brought up. Huh. But yeah, it has been like a very inconsistent. Like, you can't get Natalie Portman. What do we do with this?
They did the same thing with Tony Stark and Pepper Potts.
Yeah,
because they like be like, oh yeah, we're not together. And then like all of a sudden like, they're engaged now. And like they'd just be like, oh. But anyways, anything else you guys want to say about that?
I would say the thing I'm looking forward to most about this movie is just seeing how Christian Bale does in the role. Because I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie that's this goofy. Even if he plays a very serious villain, I'm just curious how he'll fit into the movie itself. Because I mean, at least I was very surprised when I heard that he was cast in the movie, because it just didn't seem like something that based on his previous work that he would do.
I'm telling you guys, I think it's going to get serious in that last half. I think it is, guys.
I hope so.
Because, dude, you have that character. He's a bad A character, man.
Yeah, yes.
Literally, like the sword that he has, I think it's like the black sword or something like that, or
something like that. Yeah,
it can kill a celestial. Like, this is a serious villain. Like, this is big time.
Well, that's like the sword that cut the head off the Celestial that's
Nowhere.
nowhere. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Yep. This is serious business, guys. Hey,
we'll find out 3 months from now. It comes out in July, so don't have to wait too long.
I just hope too that it doesn't turn into the dark elf, Malekith from Thor 2. Like, I hope it is like a substantial role that is justified and like, oh, I can tell that that's Christian Bale and he's a BA in this.
But we can hope that. But Marvel, I think, has a track record of not doing the best with villains. Like, I think they do pretty good with their heroes, but their villains a lot of times are underdeveloped.
I think their best villain. I don't know who their best villain was.
I mean, Loki's probably the best because they've.
But he's a good guy. He did so good that
they're like, we got to make him good because people like him. And it's, I think, overused. But I just feel like Thanos is probably the best.
I think Thanos is the best.
Probably Whiplash.
The guy from Ant-Man, the guy from Ant-Man, the businessman, bald businessman.
Oh gosh, no, definitely Thanos. I think, but yeah.
All right, anything else? Good.
I don't think so.
The other teaser we wanted to discuss was Stranger Things season 4 dropped their teaser, and I really liked it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We get to see a creepy new, looks like the villain. His name's Vecna.
Do you guys know who Vecna is?
I was going to ask you
from D&D, right?
Is he's
like a lich?
Yeah, so he's an undead. Yeah, he's a lich basically. He is basically basically it's a dude who wanted to become a god.
Yeah.
He became a lich, and then the next step is like godhood. So he's like a demigod basically.
Yeah.
In D&D's mythology. So I thought that was really cool because my favorite D&D podcast, Critical Role, like the biggest Twitch stream in the world, their first campaign, that was the big bad guy, was Vecna at the very end. It was really epic, really cool.
Spoiler.
So when I heard it was Vecna, that was really cool.
Yeah. What'd you think of his look? Right, because you get to see kind of a look at him.
He looks like a mummy. He looks like
he looks like a guy
zombie
without skin.
Yeah, he looks cool. He's definitely different because you're used to like a demigorgon, like black and reds, and then he's like this white and gray, and so it's an interesting pale like contrast.
Yeah, apparently they got the guy from that did all the makeup for Game of Thrones. And so the
White Walkers.
The White Walkers.
Looks like a White Walker.
He's got the white eyes. But apparently, like, that's all. The only thing that was digital was the tendrils in the back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, tendrils.
But everything else is like
practical.
So it looks pretty sick. There was actually a really cool thing in the teaser. Apparently, on one, if you stop it on one of the frames, there's time codes, like actual time codes in one of the shots that I didn't even see. But it's a shot that has like some portals. And so people are like, what are these time codes? And then they kind of took that frame and went to those time codes and put it over the shots, and it would highlight like certain words. Like one was on the tombstone. So there's like just one word. So they went, and apparently it says like, if you go and do that,
so it's like circle. It's circling.
It's circled
with the portals.
certain letters.
Okay.
And
that's cool.
Someone found it and like put them together, and it says, "I am Hell's Master." If you put those things, which is kind of a cool, like it's kind of interesting to throw that in.
I don't know how I feel about that
in a teaser, and then just have it being
demonic, dude.
Hey, random time codes. But it's pretty cool. That that kind of stuff I always find really fascinating.
And marketing.
Yeah, it's just like cool. Just throw it in there, like
what the heck?
Yeah. No, it's fun for sure. I think that's the thing that I needed was a smart, big bad guy behind everything, and that will be really interesting to see. I like that. Add that intellect into it, and not just crazy monsters and stuff like that. I love that.
Do you guys think that character is someone like, because the teaser starts with Billy's sister talking to Billy, and he's like, I don't know if you can hear me. Do you think that's Billy? Like,
No,
that character is gonna return at all or anything. Do you think that's?
I don't.
Some people are saying that. Some people are saying it's Barb. Like Barb could come back.
No way.
baddie.
Well, but like
Justice for Barb.
but like her body, like using her
They
body
buried her.
as
They brought her back.
So
She did
some
come
people
back.
are saying that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So it
they
could be
buried her.
Billy.
I think it's a complete original.
Yeah, I think so.
Just like
too.
the person pulling the strings the whole time.
I think it's
Yeah.
the master of that shadow realm or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Upside down.
It was cool here. His voice is super cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool having his like voiceover of being like, yeah, you guys done messed up. I'm coming to town, baby. Yeah, I really love this trailer.
But the
And I think the music was awesome. Like having that song play through and then just kind of like having it match up with what we're seeing.
Journey, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was
Separate ways.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And then Freddy Krueger's in this season.
Yeah.
Robert Englund.
Yeah.
So they were saying like, I know the creators were saying like, oh, this season is really inspired by the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And then they were like, he reached out and was like, hey, I want to be a part of the show. And they were like, it's fate. We got to put him in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, the shot of him was really creepy. He's the guy
Yeah,
that
he's
has,
got like the
eyes.
Yeah.
He's in. If we watch the trailer before this, where it's the family
with the creepy
and the-
house.
he's the dad that kills his family, basically.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. I think that I'm kind of puzzled on how they're gonna bring the different parties back together. So is it gonna be like the first half of this series is like they're all on their own, like we were talking about earlier, like the other time, and like how is this bad guy gonna be involved and how is he gonna be revealed, and like is there gonna be like a crossover from like is he gonna enter the real world like this reality like. Or is it going to be more of like he just takes over areas? Like I'm interested in that.
Yeah,
factor.
I think just from like piecing stuff together, I think they're all going to be at different places, and I think they're going to be brought back.
They're going to have to go back
to
They're like,
Hawkins.
oh
And
yeah,
then-
your friends are really
Right,
in
we
it
got to
deep.
save them,
Yeah.
and then I think they're going to go into because we see them being inside the Upside Down.
Yeah.
like we see them at the end there with all the bats and stuff. So I think that's where it's going to take. Like obviously he's going to be taking over in the real world, but in order to defeat him, they're going to have to go to his
Yeah.
like,
I think
house, and maybe that's what the house is. Like that's where he's at.
right. Yeah, I think that's probably because then the clock has something to do with
Yeah.
it too, which is something what was in the house. And I think the creators even said they were like last season we didn't spend a lot of time on the Upside Down, so this time they're really going to double down on it.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to
I've
be
been
really good.
rewatching just like while I'm working, just have it on a side.
What's
kind of
the main
rewatching.
character's name? 7 or 11?
11. 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
I don't like how she looks, man. I don't like the outfit. She's got like this weird, like I don't know. It's a weird outfit, dude.
It's the 80s, bro.
Well, it looks like she
was
had to
it?
go, but they took her. She's
Goes
going
back to like a lab or something
to, like,
kinda
help
thing.
Oh,
them
I
figure
think
it
they're
out.
doing. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it looks like there's almost flashbacks
Yeah,
because they showed they showed the rainbow room.
Yeah.
yeah, but they said
She had
it looks like
hair.
she's de-aged. They
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
So
So-
it's probably like which I
We'll
mean,
probably
that's
get
got
some
to
more
do with those
flashbacks.
kids that they all shot up. Like,
Because now they're like in
Weeds.
their 30s or something.
yeah,
Interesting.
I'm like Josh said, I'm really
And
excited.
that's coming out this next month.
This
right?
comes out the day
First
Obi-Wan.
half, right?
Yeah.
The day Obi-Wan comes out,
Yeah.
I think they're dropping 4 episodes of Stranger
Oh,
Things.
so they're
have
not
no
doing
idea.
all of them, huh?
Well, they split it up into the season into 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So it's
you'll-
only 5 in one
well,
half. So there's
but-
only 10 total episodes.
I think so. Yeah, isn't that how it normally was?
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
it's
normally
just
like 8.
It's just 4 and 4.
Yeah.
that's
But they're going to be long. There's like, each one is over
like
an hour.
right? Oh,
So you're
hour.
going to get you're going to get over 4 hours in May, and then in June you get the next 4.
But Stranger Things 4 is, have they said that's like the last?
No,
No, there's one more after this.
there's Stranger Things. It'll
Stranger
end with
Things
Stranger Things
5.
5. So you're going to
Okay.
get 4 episodes in May, 4 episodes in June, setting up the final season, which would be 5, which would come out probably next year.
Cool.
Hopefully.
I think
I mean,
so.
I feel like there's always been, even when there wasn't a pandemic, there was quite a lot of space.
Yeah, I
between
think
each
now that
season.
they're filming them like the kids look older now.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're just kind of going.
Well, they're going to have them in high. They're going to be in high school now, so I think they're pretty much they can.
Yeah.
Part of me's like, I don't care as much as I used to. I know you guys, we'd make jokes about it. And it's like, oh man, they're going to look like they're in college, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah, no, it's not. Like,
I don't
think
really
it's
care
just
as much as I thought I did. You know what I mean?
I mean, they do still look young. They just look older than they used to.
It just looks like they aged like 2 or 3 years, which they did,
probably
right?
did.
Yeah. So.
It looks like they got.
But during that age frame, like
man, it's only been spring break, and look at they grew 2 feet and over spring break.
So, but yeah, that'll be cool. So next month,
Some shots of Hopper, right?
Oh it looked like he's doing like some type of gladiator fight.
like
I
the
thought that was
Russians are
kind of
making
cool.
them, like,
I love
Fight
how,
the demidogs.
I love how this guy's like just filming everything in Russia. Like the Black Widow movie, he was in Russia.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And now he's
He
back in
just
Russia.
stayed there
Yeah, he just bought a house
in the
there.
same prison.
he was typecast, obviously.
Yeah.
No, but it looks from even the teaser that Winona Ryder's character is gonna go save him in Russia because
Yeah.
she's on the plane. It
Seems like it.
Yeah.
she's going with that crazy
The conspiracy theorist
theory
guy.
I think
feel like-
Steve's gonna die eventually, which I don't want. Steve
That would
to die.
suck. I think that'd be a good person to kill because I think it would hurt. You know, I love Steve.
That would really hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve.
Steve has one of the best like arcs of
Yeah.
like, oh man, he's a douche in the first season, and the second season,
It's a
you're
good
like,
arc.
man, you're the man.
Yeah.
When he starts hanging out with the kids.
Yep.
And that's hard to do from like a school bully
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah,
Because they did a really good job with him just being a jerk face.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably one of the favorite characters now.
yeah. Steve and Dustin. Steve,
Yeah.
Steve, Dustin,
If
and
they
Hopper.
killed
You can't
Dustin,
get anything.
If they killed Dustin, that would be the one.
That'd be pretty rough.
I can't wait. Hey, I can't wait till we get our predictions. We get our predictions going, and
With the questions you come
Or
up
that
with,
one? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, is an R2 unit going to show up?
it probably will.
That's probably true.
I
yeah.
mean, if you throw in some Star Wars references, I'm sure you'd probably get some
Yeah,
points.
probably.
Ghostbusters, D&D.
That's so crazy that they actually chose Vecna. That's so crazy. Wow.
Well, every single one of them has been like
Yeah, the
villains have been
Demogorgon, the Mind
related to
Flayer.
D&D, right?
So
The
it
Mind
has
Flayer,
to be
right?
the
Or Flayer?
kids naming it then.
Yeah, I
Like,
would
he
imagine.
didn't say, yo, my name's Vecna.
Right. It's because that's how
Because
what it's been.
They're
In yeah,
Demogorgons, they named them.
Yeah.
So like they're
No, it's the
naming
kids,
this one
yeah.
Vecna. So it's just D&D based.
yeah,
Which is cool.
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
I think that's kind of interesting though, because I think a lot. I know you guys play D&D, but even in talking with like Alyssa and like our nephews, like they were really big into Stranger Things, and they kind of got interested. Like I remember talking to them, they was like, "We want to play D&D because
It's strange.
it's Stranger Things." So that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah,
Like,
we actually
obviously-
just recently played because of that.
like
we played
obviously
last
the
week.
creators of Stranger Things are big D&D fans, but it's kind of cool how even something like that, if you're passionate about something and you make something and it's done well, like you get people to be like, "Oh, that's cool. I want to try that. I want to play that." So it's kind of just interesting how that works. Pretty cool.
yeah.
You guys played recently with them?
Yeah, because we played because of that. Ethan, Jason, those guys, or not Jason, Aiden really wanted to play, and I was like, "So, what do you guys know about D&D?" They're like, "Just what was in Stranger Things," and I was like, "Okay, all right." But we had a lot of fun.
Nice.
The guys,
That's cool.
they got into it. Ethan and Aiden and Alyssa couldn't stop by too long, but yeah, it was
Nice.
fun. It was a fun experience. I think they enjoyed it, but. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Cool.
So next month we'll get to see that. Well, I wonder what are we gonna do? Are we gonna do like just watch all 4 and then, or we were gonna talk about that later. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah,
We'll
sweet.
figure it out.
Any other news or is that it?
I think that's all. I mean, there's probably something, but I don't know.
We
Can't think of
just one thing we shared. They dropped a little Top Gun. Since Top Gun Maverick is on my most anticipated list, they dropped a little kind of like featurette about the training and Tom Cruise like training the pilots, the actors to be up in the jet and stuff. It looks incredible. Like the stuff they're doing to make it look real. And he was also like, "Oh, we also had to teach them how to like adjust their cameras and be good cinematography. Teach them about cinematography so they'd know what a good shot is, what angles to do, because they're basically filming themselves up there. It's just pretty intense. It's pretty amazing.
My question is, who does Tom Cruise think he is? That's my question.
What gives
Who
him
made
the
him?
right?
Who made him the head pilot? You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
he's like,
he's
we're gonna be looking up 3Gs right now. So I trained them. I taught them everything I know. I'm like, what?
Dude,
you were
he's
in Top Gun.
He's Top Gun. He really flies,
I guarantee you, there's actual like pilot.
Yeah, but I'm sure there were. But like the way they were framing it in the featurette was pretty funny. He's
Well,
like,
that was his decision.
He's like,
the
I
producer.
He's like, I drew out
Make me look like the coach here.
What did they say? They're like, oh, Tom wrote out a curriculum for us or something like that. I'm like,
here's the crazy thing though. Like
he's a pilot,
and a teacher and a professor
and a cinematographer.
Apparently, in Mission Impossible, there's this scene where he flies the helicopter.
Yeah, and
the pilot didn't want to go up and film, so he strapped a camera to himself and he flew the helicopter.
See, I think that's all hearsay.
So, to me, this
dude's like, "What are you, a coward? Give me that camera!" And he just ran up there like, "Oh my gosh, Tom's getting in the helicopter!" Tom, get back here!
So that's what they want you to believe.
You've seen Tom Cruise jumping on the Oprah couch? Yeah. Like, the man is crazy. You never know what he's gonna do.
Come on, dude.
Dude, he's flying jets, flying helicopters.
I mean, based on the featurette, it made it seem like he's like some type of fighter jet extraordinaire.
He's a blue angel,
which is cool. I mean,
that was definitely like his decision to like frame it that way.
Compared to other actors, it is true. He is above and beyond because he's.
Does he have his pilot license?
Yeah,
he's known.
Yeah,
he's known for doing that.
Jet.
He's known for doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like the stunts, like all the Mission Impossible stuff. Like,
he's
like,
a crazy
strap
person.
me onto the side of this plane. I want to actually do it for reals. So to me, I wouldn't put it past him that he actually was like, "Hey, I've got free time. I'm going to go up in the fighter jet and just kind of teach me some stuff." I don't know. Like, he's got the money. He's got the time to do it. Yeah. I know. I think it's everyone says he's nuts. I think he wants to die in a movie. Like,
is he going to space?
He wants to go to space, do some stuff like that. So I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. I don't think it's just like, oh, I want you guys to make it seem like I'm doing this.
Have you guys?
That's a little bit of both. I think
crazy. Dude's crazy.
I guarantee you, his Scientology power level is so high because they like grab these things and they like
25
measure your like power or whatever. I bet it's
he told Katie Holmes not to do The Dark Knight.
I know, what a jerk.
His power was above Christopher Nolan's.
Wow.
I will say it does look sweet. Like all the shots of them in the fighter jets, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. Yeah. And like they look really dynamic and like. Yeah. I'm actually pretty excited for it.
Well, in the age of like everything increasingly being CGI or green screen
or LED screens in the back,
LED screens, it is such a breath of fresh air to see actual stuff shot in camera, especially when it's like crazy things like people flying jets and stuff.
That's crazy. Because I remember, like, I feel like even any World War II movie that's out now, it's like CGI planes. They're not actual planes, but the fact that these are fighter jets, they're F-18s or whatever, and they're like
that Tom Cruise built himself,
right? Exactly,
in his garage.
His urine is the jet fuel that fuels the planes.
I don't want to be that guy, but I be that guy. Okay, I'm always this guy. But like the things that you're like super hyped about, I'm just like, I don't know if like
make a better movie.
I don't know if the kids who are growing up nowadays are even phased by that.
Oh, they don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm saying like
about us.
You guys are all hyped and I'm like, I mean, it is cool.
I mean, this movie wasn't made for kids nowadays. They're like everyone that watched the Top Gun movies are like, this is for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, but they would love it if there were like young adults who got into it. That'd be cool. And they very well could be. But yeah, but you're right. It is, no one's doing that anymore. So it's a unique, it's a lost art for sure. Yeah.
Oscar?
All of the Oscars.
Tom Cruise is going to win Oscar for best
cinematography, best pilot.
They're going to do best fighter pilot.
Instead of cheer moment, they'll make best pilot award, and he'll get it.
You can vote for me. We're going to spam it.
Yeah. He'll get all the Scientology guys to vote for him. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Nice. That's all I got, guys. So.
And when's that coming out?
I'm not sure actually.
Oh,
it moved back. It should have come out earlier, but I think it's probably June or July.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that'll be fun to watch. It'll be like a blast from the past, baby. I hope they have the. They
have to.
Such a good song, dude.
Hans Zimmer's doing the score, right?
Dude. One time,
Is he?
I think so.
to make that
Kinda
news,
They didn't call Johnny.
Yeah.
They called Hansi.
Hansi. To make this news a little bit nerdy, actually, I'll say I did a guild speech as like encouragement to my WoW guildies when a new expansion came out, and I was like, "Hey guys, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna beat this boss and we're gonna one shot everything." And I did it to that music in the background. I had it playing in the background while I was making a speech.
Nice.
It was dope. It was pretty sick.
And Tom Cruise walked in
Yeah,
and started
He's
slow
like-
clapping.
Yeah,
Jumping on your couch.
Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. The guy's crazy.
All right. Well, yeah. I think that'll do it for this episode. Thanks you to all of you for subscribing to the channel. It definitely means a lot to us. So thank you for doing that. Like the video, share it, comment down below. Let us know what you think about all the nerdy news we've talked about today.
Comment on the YouTube video. It makes a huge difference if you comment on the YouTube video. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See you in the next one, huh?
See you guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah.